Hello and welcome to the Lyman Lipke Guitarcast Q&A edition. A little bit low energy here, maybe, because I just filmed another high energy podcast that was intended to be the Q&A episode, but I went on a tangent for like 40 minutes just on one subject. And I'll probably post that on Monday. Basically, to hype you up for that, I got in an argument, my favorite segment, and I just dunked on this dude's argument for 45 minutes. There's a twist at the end, so gotta watch. How y'all doing today? Housekeeping. Join my not-so-secret clubhouse. Link is below. All I need is your email address. First edition just went out yesterday, and in a couple weeks another one will come out, and there will be another cool exercise in it. Second, if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, and also just do the reverse. If you're watching on YouTube, follow on Spotify. If you're following on Spotify, subscribe to YouTube, because I do other things here on YouTube. And as always, lessons available. 30 slots is what we're doing, and as this secret clubhouse thing starts rolling, those slots are going to fill up pretty quick. So if you've ever thought about studying with me, now's the time to jump on that. Okay, housekeeping out of the way. Got the Jackson 7-string again. Having trouble getting the low A to intonate properly. I think I need to reset the intonation on this whole guitar again. So we don't have that many questions. Basically, I just picked a few that I thought were important. And one, just because everybody, it's usually a question that gets asked. And so I can clip this and put it on my page. But I don't mind talking about it because it's not a very long story. G. Prubino asks, what first made you pick up the guitar? Had no real interest in music until I was like 10 years old. And then in 5th grade, still had no real interest in music, but my dad said, you have to play an instrument. Because in 5th grade, they started offering orchestra. So, said, you have to do it for a year. If you don't like it, you can quit after a year. But you're going to pick an instrument, like violin, viola, or cello. As a natural contrarian, I picked the viola. So the viola was my first instrument. Spoiler alert, I liked music and had fun with it, and had a small edge on my classmates. And that small edge was I figured out how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star before everybody else. And I mean, that's not that big of an edge, the grand scheme of things. We learned it after not too long, but I got the viola. Couldn't figure out how to rosin it, that you needed to rosin it to make the bow work. And so once I figured that out, I'm like, oh, these 2 strings, I can play them. And then if I put my finger down here, figured out how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Lo and behold, like, we weren't going to use the bow for another 3 months. So, like, I just put it back. I was always worried that I was going to get in trouble for going ahead of the book. But, I mean, the viola was in my possession. Like, I could, as long as I wasn't, doing anything terrible to destroy it because it was a rental, I could do whatever I want with it. So, after that, like, I just got my hands on every instrument I could. And my dad was a guitar player. Was a guitar player. He's still with us, but he doesn't really play anymore. He's kind of old. And I know you're gonna listen to this, Pops. I'm coming for that deluxe reverb someday. And so there were guitars around. Viola's a stringed instrument, guitar's a stringed instrument. So like I figured out some stuff, some of the orchestra melodies, and then I learned about tablature. And then it was like game over from there. Like I was just playing guitar all the time. So that's how I got into it. Like my pops forced me to try music, and I liked it, and there were guitars around. So into some more meaty questions. Can you do some more chord combos like your C6 scale idea? Yes. And it's not my idea. This is from the Gospel of Barry Harris. The Gospel of Barry. Which I will be running a class on sometime in the next couple months. And there will be a document with all of the possibilities of what I'm about to talk about. I'm just going to do a quick rundown. So, 6 diminished scale is C6, D diminished, repeated. Through the inversions. There are 3 other scales that you can pair with a diminished chord that happen to work mathematically. So if I make this a minor 6 chord by just lowering the third of C6, I get the C minor 6 diminished scale. And this chord is cool because it's C minor 6 as well as A minor 7 flat 5. And it's also a rootless F dominant 9. And it all comes from this set of 4 notes. That's basically what the podcast on Monday is going to be about. Like, these 4 notes in a vacuum, what are they? Like, they could be at least 3 different things we've discovered. And since it's a dominant chord, we now have tritone substitution available. So this is B7, flat 9, sharp 5. So this one chord is 4 chords. And it's also there's a major type chord that goes along with it, but I don't use that all that often. So it's a minor chord, a half diminished chord, and 2 dominant chords, just by changing one note. If I find that in all of the inversions, just lower the E's to E flats. All the shapes I learned, just by changing one thing, nets me, what's 4 times 4? 16 more chords. That's pretty cool, I think. Also, these chords are related. So certain minor 6s and minor 7 flat 5s are related. So think of this as like A minor 7 flat 5, D7 flat 9 sharp 5, and then G minor 6. Just grab that one. That one's easier to grab. I'm having problems on the 10th fret specifically on this guitar on the low A string. So A minor 7 flat 5, D7 altered, G minor 6. If I'm thinking of this as A minor 7 flat 5, and this is A minor 7, so actually becomes A minor 7, I've gotten confused. So I can go get this minor 6 chord, C minor 6, C6, C minor 6. A minor 7, I can lower the 7th to the 6th. And that gives me the shape that I use down here for C minor 6, which is D7, D9. So I just changed one note in two different spots to get me to the same 4 chords, which are 16 chords, and that gave me 2-5-1. So we can go back. If I find the 6 of C6, I can raise it to the flat 7, and now I have C7, and that doesn't interfere with the diminished chord. So by changing one note again, I have 4 more chords. I can also take A minor 7, raise the flat 3rd to the major 3rd. Now I have A7. Same 4 shapes again. And these are playable as 6 diminished scales. That's the one. So, changing one note from the 6th chord in 4 different spots nets us our minor 6 chords and our dominant 7th chords. We can take our dominant 7th chords and lower the 5th. So I'll just go to C7. Here's the 5th. That gives us the dominant 7 sharp 11. Or dominant 7 flat 5 diminished scale. So this is C7. Find the 5th. Lower it. Right here. Interesting thing about this is that there are actually only 2 shapes for the dominant chords. Dominant 7 flat 5 chords. There's symmetrical. Move it a tritone away, it'll have the same notes. So those are your 4 6 diminished scales, or Barry Harris chord scales. Inevitably, everybody always asks me, well, what about major 7? Since C major 7 contains a B, that B is contained within D diminished, so it doesn't really work. But this is a nice introduction to the borrowing concept. So, C major 7 that goes along with this C6. So if we play our C 6 diminished scale, but shift everything up one diatonic degree. It gives us this scale. Haven't done this in a while. Yeah, that's it. It's a very nice scale of chords. You can do that with any degree. So I lower voice 3 down a diatonic step. I've never done this before, so. Ooh, that's a nice chord. Is this diminished chord? It's that. So this is the chord that we got. So you change one note at a time. And play up the sixth diminished scale, or whatever sixth diminished scale we're using. That's available for all four of the chord plus diminished chord scales. Changing one note diatonically up or down. Do it with two notes diatonically up and down. And with that, we've got our other voicings, like different string sets. You can get our drop 3s on the low set by taking our drop 2s on the top set and moving the top note, which is on the high E string, to the low E string. Beautiful. And it really is the basis for my harmonic concept. It's just so simple and elegant, which I've heard means the same thing. Elegant means simple. But I heard that from Seth Rogen on a TV show. And now let's get into the big question, which I must go into my photos for because I screenshotted it. And it has to do with another question I asked or answered a couple weeks ago. Hey man, creative kid asks, hey man, I saw your video about 10 jazz standards to learn, but how do I learn them? I learned how to play Mr. PC because it's easy and interesting to try many things on it. But I'm locked when I try to analyze in a sentimental mood. So, couple things to go off of there. I think immediate analysis, especially if you haven't done a lot of harmonic and melodic analysis of jazz standards, like I don't think that's the place to start until you've got some tunes under your belt, and then you've done a few more. Then you can, I mean, it no longer really becomes harmonic analysis. After you do it a few times, you see the changes. Like, I know what this means. I've seen this before here, and here. and you have those moves. Like, you've already done the harmonic analysis. You're just piecing different things together. So let's avoid analysis to start. The first thing you should learn is the melody. Like, learn the melody of the tune. And that's the A section, which in a sentimental mood is an AABA form. So that melody, or a variation of it, is going to happen 3 times. So before we even analyze anything, like, learning how to play it is good. Learning how to sing it is much is very effective as well. Na 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 na, etc., etc. If you can sing it, it is internalized in your ear, in your brain. I mean, singing is hard. I don't do it. The only reason I sing is to further internalize a melody or something like that. Nothing has ever gotten harder to play after I've learned how to sing it. I'm somewhat close to where the pitches are. Like, I'm not trying to get perfectly in tune, just trying to get into the ballpark. Because if I hear it, if I sing it, I can like I'm hearing it real loud in my head, because I've started in my head, came out my voice. It's like double amplified. So that's the melody. We can do a quick analysis of it, actually. That's D minor pentatonic, just straight up the D minor pentatonic scale from F. That's like the box. And that's a little blue note. Pretty simple. I've got the squeakiest guitar strap of all time. I swear that wasn't my butt. If it was, I would have either cut it out or owned it. You know, I don't think you're supposed to do this to guitars, and I have no idea what it'll do to this finish, but I don't particularly care. Boom. No more squeaky guitar strap. Oh yeah. That's getting clipped. So those are the A sections. Probably a good idea to grab the chords. And if you don't have a lot of chords under your fingers, learn the shell voicings, like 3-note chords. First chord is D minor, or D minor 7. Can't remember what they write it as in the real book. And then it's D minor over C sharp. If I see a chord like this, that C, this C, and this C sharp are in opposition to each other. So, I'll pick another note from D minor, A. And really, those are the first 4 chords. D minor 7, D minor major 7, D minor over C, B minor 7 flat 5 to G minor 7. Might be thinking, that's a weird jump. Well, not really. If we jump up to the next inversion of G minor 7, that's some nice voice leading. B minor 7 flat 5 to B flat 6. And then we actually have the same figure. Descending bass line. We call that a line cliche. In the second half of when we get to the half diminished chord, we'll just add a dominant chord. So, I can't actually remember the changes in their exact order. Like, but it goes to a 3-6 A minor 7, D7, G minor 7, C7, F major 7. 2-5-1, and then not sure if the chart says no chord or if it has a minor 2-5. Then you can learn the same chords in the other spot. So these are split voicings. We can learn the adjacent voicings. So, same thing. This 2 A sections are the same, except on bar 8, or maybe the last half of bar 8 of the second A. When it modulates to D flat, is that a chromatic median? I don't know. They get just like half step below the relative minor, or it's in tunes in D minor or F major. So that's the first half of the melody, of the bridge. It's a pretty simple melody. I don't, not too. It's been a long time since I played this. Starts on the major 7. And then the real book has something weird. like that. It's got some quarter note triplet things. I don't think that's referenced in a lot of recordings. So, basically the same thing twice. Let's check out the changes. 1-6-2-5, 3-6-2-5, 1-6-2-5, and then 2 of F major. And something that we can do. So here's some substitute changes, and usually this is later, but I'll give them to you right now. Instead of playing D minor, we can play D minor with the 6 in the bass, which is B minor 7 flat 5. Descending minor 7 chords till we get to A flat, and then we're just tritone subbing. Then we're back to written changes. We can go back up to that B minor 7 flat 5 again. Lost it. So close. So once you've got the shell voicings down, then you can start incorporating larger voicings. And one thing to pay attention to, like wherever you start, try to find something close by. That was the chord I was reaching for. I heard it, didn't have it under my fingers. So, learn the melody, then learn simple changes, then learn a set of more advanced changes with good voice leading. And now we can get to the analysis phase. Look at the melody and what the melody note is in relation to the chord. And my camera has died. That's never happened in a podcast before. I'm back. How exciting. And that can give us some insight on how things are supposed to move. Also, if there's a chord jump that doesn't make sense, see if there's a substitute. B flat 6 versus G minor 7. So less of a jump. And then you can maybe start to make sense of this. And this is why chords are fluid. Like the chord on the chart says G minor. And I'm I may be getting the changes wrong, but B minor 7 flat 5 going to G minor 7. If G minor 7 on the chart was always G minor 7, I may have a little bit of trouble. Like, oh, that's a weird jump. But since I know same 4 notes in G minor 7 are in B flat 6, and B flat 6 and B minor 7 flat 5 actually happen to share 2 notes. These 2 notes. These 2 notes. Sorry. These are the notes that change. So, if you're having trouble with analysis, like, play the melody, like, just over and over and over again. Sing the melody till it is burned forever in your brain. Like, there's a good chance, like, I've forgotten more tunes than some of you know. And it comes back quick. Like, I've built up my musical memory over the course of 22 years. I've worked on that skill, like, to recall things, but, like, I know most of the melody and some of the words to a lot of these tunes, like, that, like, I've just forgotten the changes to, so if I can, familiarize myself with the changes and how they relate to the melody, then I know the tune. Like, this tune, I don't know the, I don't know the changes at this part, but I know the melody. It's very clear our love is here to stay. And yeah, like, let me leave you with something kind of funny. Misheard lyrics or misunderstood lyrics. Dude, I worked with a vocal group, like, when I was coming up, so I learned the words to a ton of these songs, and I've just posted a video about that today. Learn the words to the song. There's a tune called Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans, to miss her each night and day? And all that I was thinking, like, every time I heard that song is, who the hell is Miss New Orleans? No, I don't know what it means to her. It wasn't until the saxophonist told me, like, no, do you know what it means to miss the city? Like, oh, I'm an idiot. And this tune, for the longest time, I thought it was I Can Give You Anything But Love. And I would love to see what you guys can do as a parody. The tune is I Can't Give You Anything But Love. I can't give you anything but love. to hear I Can Give You Anything But Love. About a rich jackass who has a heart of stone. Get you anything, but not his heart. There are some others, but I was just thinking about those last night. That's another thing you can do to learn these tunes and internalize them. Learn the words. Like, seriously. It gives you something to link the melody to. And it gives you some information to make some variations on, like, the A sections. Like, tall and tan and young and lovely. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes each one, her passage goes. I'd phrase those words differently than when she walks, it's like a samba, or I could. Versus. Like, I don't know if there was much variation in that, but I was definitely thinking of the words, and I might articulate the word tall a little bit different than the word when. Those are useful bits of information. Anyway, that's answered a few questions. Housekeeping at the end. Be on the lookout for Monday's podcast. I get quite animated. And there's a lot of good information on chords and how chords are fluid. And people are idiots. But everybody's going through their own struggles. And we should, I say this, like, I should be more understanding of that. But just don't be so confidently wrong and pompous around me. And we'll have nothing to, worry about. Or I'll have nothing to worry about. You can do whatever you want. But I have no problem with people being wrong. Like, the moment you're confident and pompous about it, like, and then you say I'm wrong, that, then I'll make a podcast about you and block you, and so you can't see that I posted the podcast. Don't get any ideas, please. And if you do, like, at least make them funny. Sign up for lessons, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm finished.